This lesson is about using the command line to create database, show databases, use database name, create tables, show tables, describe table name, populate table by using the insert into command, select all from table name. Remember, SQL is case insensitive, so you can use both upper and lower cases for the keywords. We will create this these columns: ID, first name, last name, phone, email address, because we'll be writing the student details, and I think these 5 are the essential attributes that maybe you need. Please always comment your code for easy identification and check the experience. If you didn't check the experience, you'll be getting so many errors and you'll be even fed up of coding. Let's dig in. Before I go, to use the command line, we have 2 ways of using. You can use the MySQL command line client. That is by the when you install MySQL, you will get this MySQL command line client, or you can use the computer command line, but I prefer using the command line for the computer. So CMD, then press the enter. So here we are in the command line, so we want to specify the enter the command line that we are using MySQL. So you type MySQL U is the username. By default is root. You can change it when you are installing the MySQL. And then the password, you set your own password when you are installing the MySQL. So the password, you type your password. So here you will see welcome to the MySQL monitor. So this one shows that you are using the MySQL. So commands ends with semicolon or \G. So so now we are creating our database. So let's write a comment: creating of database. So use the keyword create, then database, followed by the database name, student login. Now you say 0, I say query okay, 1 row affected. So that means we are done creating our database. Now you want to show the database to see the number of databases that we have on our system. So you use the word show databases. So show databases. So this is what we created, student login. So now you want to use it. When you create a database, you have to use it to specify that we are using this database to create these tables and that. So you use the word use followed by the database name. Database name. So in our case, you will use the database that is student login. Student login. Okay. You will see this database change. That means you have been able to specify the database that you will use. So here, now that you have specified, you have to create tables, because they say database contains tables and columns and everything. So now we are about to create a table. So creating of tables. So use the word create table, Then you bring the table name, student. Now this you open a bracket, and the bracket you'll be entering the columns or the attribute. So the attribute ID, and the ID should accept int as a data type. Then the size should be 10. You close it, and you want to use this as our primary key, so we specify primary key, and you know what is a primary key is. It uniquely identifies rows from each other. So when you finish, you bring comma. This comma separates from each column. It specifies that this is for column 1, column 2, column 3. So after that, you move on to the first name. So with the first name, you'll be using data type varchar, and it should be, the size should be 25, and it shouldn't left nar. Not nar is a constraint that we are restricting the table, the user that place should not be null. You should enter something. If you don't enter anything, it will not go. So last name, that one to varchar, the size 25, not nar, then comma, then phone. The phone should accept int as a data type. Then the size should be 10. That one to not now. Then email. That one to varchar. The size should be, let's do it 30. And it shouldn't be left now. So not now. Now we are finished with creating of the columns. Remember that this is the last one, so you didn't bring comma here. You didn't bring comma before this. You close the brackets. You have to close it without bringing the comma there. You bring your semicolon. You will see query OK, row 0 rows affected. So now that you are able to create our table, yeah, we want to show our table that we have created. So you use the keyword describe, then followed by the table name. So describe student. Now this is the table that you have created, the columns and everything. So you see ID, first name, last name, phone, email, and these are the data types, and these are the constraints. Not now. The keyword is it will assign PRI to the primary key. You didn't set any default, so and you didn't add any extra things. So now that we have finished creating our database and create a table as well, let's populate it by entering some details. So populating the table. So populating the table, you use the keyword insert. Insert into, followed by the table name student. You have two ways of doing it. One, you can bring insert into, then insert into table names, then you bring values, then you move on, or you can decide to bring the columns so that it will help you. So bringing the columns, you don't bring the value here, you open the bracket, then you specify the column. You have ID, you have first name, you have last name, we have phone, and you have email address. You have email. Okay. Then you close it. When you close it, you bring values. And then you enter the values that you want to insert. So we did it ID. So remember that when you are doing it, you'll be putting them into quotation marks. So you can use the single quotation or the double, but I'm using the single. So remember the quotation, the ID, you start from 1. You bring comma to separate it. You move on to the comma will specify that we are done with row 1. That is we are done with column 1. Sorry, that is the ID, and you are moving on to the first name. That is the second column. So the first name, for instance, I'll use my name, Alfred. When you finish, you bring the quotation mark, comma. Then you are moving to the last name. So the last name, and here, you do the same thing. You bring the comma, quotation, you move on. Phone number. Then email address. Put it there. So this is the last one. So the last column. So you don't bring comma there. You close your brackets. Then you bring comma. The comma will tell the command line that we are done with the row 1. We are moving on to row 2. Press enter, then you open, you bring your code, then comma. You do the same thing, you follow the same syntax. So the name Emmanuel, Senso, number, then email address asenso1@gmail.com. Close it. You bring comma. You press enter. You open it again. You bring your quotation 3. Then you bring your quotation. You bring comma. You open it again. Then the second name is Ernest. Last name Niza, number NS. gmail.com. Close it. You close it, then you bring comma. And the code and the number email address comma. Move on to the next one. So Elijah. Fix it. Number so email, fix it. So now I want to use this I want to enter these 5 attributes, or I want to enter these 5 rows. So when you are done, you terminate it with your semicolon, then you check that you spelled everything correct before you move on. If not, you'll be getting so much error there. You have to do everything again, and it pains a lot. So you check them, then you see that if everything is okay. If it is okay, you press enter. You see query okay, 5 rows affected, record blah 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 blah. That means you're able to create you're able to populate the table and you don't have any problem. Thank God, because so many times I've been getting so many errors. So if you get one, don't feel bad. Continue practicing and you'll get the right thing. So now that we are able to populate the table, you want to show it so that you will see the number of entries that we have on our database. So we use it by we will use the select command to do it. So you use select, you use hash, means all. When you use a hash, it means all. So select all from the table name student. So select all from student. So this is the table that you created. You see the ID 1, 2, 3 up to 5, the names. So here you want to use the select to select so many things. So here let's select a column like first name. So select first name. Select first name from table. student. So select first name, you check your spellings from student. You will see the first name has been selected and all the first name is here and here. So we move on to, let's use multis. You want to select two tables, so select let's use first name, last name from student. It's not one word, so from student. Then you see first name has been selected, last name has been selected. You can select rows from it, you can select anything from it. So guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There will be so many videos on MySQL coming, so if you don't subscribe, maybe you will not get them. So you have to subscribe and click on the bell icon so that anytime I do any video, you will get it and watch it and practice. So if you don't have MySQL on your computer, please, you have to download it and install it. MySQL, when you download, you install it and you will be able to use it. So thank you guys, bye bye, see you next week.